play like a musical instrument if you want to get, you know, festive.
Hey guys, so today we're talking all about dinghies.
Today's a dinghy day. Okay, so back at the boat with your dinghy, very important part. This is where your dinghy is going to spend 90% of its life, tied to the side of your boat. For security, I like to tie it to the side of the boat. It's inflatable, so it doesn't really beat up the side of the boat too bad. You wouldn't want to do that with like a skiff or a rigid. I tie it off with as many lines as I can. Super overkill. 1, 2, 3, 4 lines minimum. This is what it would be if it was low wind, and it keeps it pretty safe, pretty stuck well to the side of the boat. This chain here runs all the way through to the motor, and that is a theft deterrent. It would be kind of hard to cut through there while I'm on the boat. You could probably hear it knocking around, and you could probably catch the guy. If you left it at anchor like that, you probably wouldn't want to do it that way. Okay guys, so this comes down to dinghy security. If you don't have dinghy davits on your boat, when it's really, really windy, sometimes you'll be nervous sleeping during the night just with your couple of ropes tying the dinghy on. And even in Key West, I have seen dinghies break loose and drift across the flats, and it's a nightmare to go get them. So what I came up with was I have a fishing pole with a clicker here that I run. It's about 60-pound test. I run it out through my cockpit, tie it to my dinghy so that if my ropes were to fail, something was to break, and my dinghy's gonna start slipping away, I'm gonna hear this sound, which in the middle of the night will wake you up, and you'll get a chance to run out and grab your dinghy before it's long gone and it goes to Davy Jones' locker. Couple of other incidentals that you're going to need in the dinghy. For one, a pump. Always a good idea to have one of these with you. You never know if you're going to lose pressure. You could hit a valve and leave it open, leak it all out. As you can see, all this open water brings us to our next dinghy message. Safety equipment. Safety equipment that you not only need legally, but you're going to need practically if you ever get in a bad situation. Coast Guard approved life jackets. You're going to need one of these for everybody that's in the boat. The next main one you need, audio distress signal. Put me in, coach. I'm ready to play. You got to have that, or that's, I don't know, probably a $90 ticket or something crazy like that. Another thing you're going to have if you're going at night, you're going to have lights. West Marine has these red and green ones. These are rated for if you go like up to 7 miles an hour. So you need the red and green, and then you need the white all-around light. I'll show you a gangster version of that later. That probably won't get you out of a ticket, but it'll definitely keep you safer if you're in a pinch. Okay guys, this next part. Disclaimer, it's not legal. It will not get you out of a ticket, but it could help to keep you safe, and it may get you out of a ticket if you get the right officer and you're trying to do the right thing. This is a last resort, but something I came up with one time. I was coming home at night. I got stuck out a little longer than I thought. This is the gangster navigation lights. So what you do is you just go into your phone. You're gonna have to find an image and edit it. What I do is I do the red and green. I turn it sideways, and I hold it out in front of me, and then you go into your tools, go ahead and throw on your flashlight, and then you have your allegedly an all-around light and rear facing you. So you get out of here, you got your red and greens on the front that you can kind of point at people, and then you got your white light in the back that's behind you that's going to keep you safe. So at night, maybe this is going to let somebody see you and keep you safe. Definitely keep your head on a swivel.
Last resort.
Last resort. But, you know, I think necessity is the mother of invention, and this is going to be better than absolutely nothing. So if you get pulled over with this, you're probably still getting a ticket. And, you know, it's not super, super visible, but I think you'll be better off with this than without this. Okay, another important things to have in your ditch bag here. Sunscreen. It's always going to come in important. Always going to need it. Extra pair of shoes. Going to come in handy as well. Tools. We got a screwdriver, a pair of pliers, simple stuff. You're always going to need it. Keep your registration on you in a plastic bag. You're going to get pulled over 100% you will eventually get pulled over. They'll yell at you for stuff like not having that. Super glue. Also very important with an inflatable. This will get you back in a pinch. It'll hold all this stuff together. I'll get to that as well in the gangster repair section. Good idea to keep maybe a little bit of oil or something like that and then some water in here in case you get in some real trouble. A couple bottles of water won't hurt.
Look, a jellyfish. All right, so we just got here and we decided to go to the mangrove so we can easily flip the dinghy over to clean the bottom of it, and we can successfully put the motor off and put it standing up.
It's a safe motor spot, and it's a good spot where there's not waves and all that insanity, where I can easily scrape the bottom, get it out clean, and there's stores right here, so if I do need anything, I got it.
If anyone remembers from our chore day video, this is actually our grocery parking spot. Looks like you made it a little tight there, big dog.
I didn't make it too tight, I just haven't taken it off in a while, so it gets stuck on. Luckily though, I'm a fucking man beast in the woods and I can just hulk it right off.
Man beast of the woods?
Yeah, there's a crazy man beast in the woods. And it's me.
Looks like you need a hand.
I don't. Honestly, what does this remind you of right here? This little hair. Tell me that don't look like my little wispies. Look at it, we got the same haircut. Well, getting a shave today, homie.
Look, there's a chicken over there because it's Key West and there's chickens everywhere. Can you see them?
Alright, so tools of the trade. First time I've ever really cleaned the bottom of this dinghy. As you can see, it's dirty, so we got a regular sponge, house sponge, a little, I don't know, Scotch-Brite. We got some sandpaper, a scraper, and like a short nylon brush. But the secret ingredient, this is a pro tip from my boy Isaac. Isaac is my dog from Key West. He's an old conch. He's been down for a little minute, so he owns a sailboat as well. He said if you can get the hottest hot sauce you can find, this is the habanero mix. So these, he said the oil from the pepper like makes stuff not want to grow back as easily, so we're going to try it out. We're going to do a little short section.
What do you do with it though?
We dump it on and I'm going to...
You rub it in?
Yeah, I'm going to rub it in.
After you clean it?
Now I'm going to let it soak on one spot, see if it helps it clean easier, and then I'm going to also do like a buffer spot later. Alright guys, so there's kind of two different types of bottom cleaning for dinghies. One, it gets a lot of barnacles on it, which are pretty easy. Something like this is going to scrape them right off. You'll see something's hard, you can kind of just scrape stuff right off. It's no big deal. That hard stuff's just going to pop right off with this. Clams, oysters, you can kind of see if you zoom in here, we had some clams. That's what a tool like this is going to come in handy for. Make sure you don't stab your dinghy and pop it, but that's kind of common sense. And then for the grass, a short nylon brush as well will kind of brush some of it off, but it gets gunked up and it takes a little bit of time as well. Another thing, if you don't have those things super handy, kind of a pro tip is right here, Mother Earth provides, as she normally does. Find some coarse sand, as little rocks as you can find. Take it here, and then you will see, let's demo a spot. Okay, you can kind of see the grass right here. Still plenty of grass there, right? You see this doesn't get that much off. Still leaves a lot. You take the sand here, give it a good scrub with the sand. It's not too bad for the dinghy. It's not going to pop holes in it and things like that. And then you see pretty quickly, pretty effortlessly, more or less perfect. Maybe one more round of that and it's going to come off pretty easy with just sand. I wouldn't go crazy with it, but it will help you speed up the process a little bit. There's a lot of different kind of dinghies out there. I'm not one of these know-it-alls, so I'm going to talk a little bit anecdotally about my experience with two dinghies. This one with the soft bottom is called a roll-up. You can deflate this, take it all apart, and it rolls up into about the size of like a good-sized suitcase. And then I've had a rib as well. Rib stands for rigid inflatable boat. Those are the ones you see with a hard fiberglass bottom or aluminum with the tubes on the side. I loved my rib. It was a little bit bigger. It would take the chop. I loved the way that boat rode. But the problem with those is that they're super heavy. Mine was like 400 pounds. And it sucked taking it on and off the big boat to travel and to do crossings, things like that. This one rolls up and you can throw it around as you saw earlier. You can just kind of toss this thing around by hand, and it still handles the 15 horse pretty well. So those are my two that I've had. The rib is definitely going to ride better, but the weight exchange on the fold-ups and the portability makes them a little bit more worth it, and they can still handle quite a bit as well. The boats that I haven't really used, but I've seen, and wished I hadn't seen, was the porta boats, the boats that like fold up the walls. Main gripes with those is they sink whenever it rains. There's a couple of YouTube videos that show misfortunate owners waking up one day with your complete dinghy underwater tied to the side of your boat. You got to bail it out. You got to, muck out the whole thing, change your whole oil. It's kind of a nightmare. So with a 4-stroke, it'd be a huge deal to sink your entire motor. Yeah, and they're ugly. Those are for like, I don't know, you have a cabin that you go to twice a week or twice a month or something like that. You fold it up and you take your grandkids fishing or something. I don't think it's practical, and they're just, you can look at them and tell that they're lame and they suck. So porta boats, don't waste your time.
So there's a few ways to fix repairs. We obviously tried to do the right way once, which is pretty expensive.
More than once, several times with Apache. With Apache, we went through the entire gauntlet of that stupid glue that you put inside and you roll it around. That does work, but it's basically a band-aid. It's not a permanent fix. If you had a newer dinghy, it may fix you for a season. And then we got the really expensive 2-part glue that you basically have to be a chemist to make mix right, especially if you're living aboard. You're in a high humidity situation. Those super expensive things, I'm sure all the dorks out there are gonna be like, no, you can mix it, it's the right thing to do. It doesn't matter. Like, I'm gonna give you the keys to the city right here. You see these patches? As you can see by the growth that's over them, you can tell they've been on here for a while. I found some old fabric from a dinghy that I had that I cut up. Probably this is remnants of Apache. She lives. But I just cleaned it really well, prepped it really, really well, and then just used standard super glue from the Dollar Tree. So the cost of this patch would have been free for the materials, and then probably $2 each worth of super glue. So if someone tries to talk you into, there's only one way to do this, you have to go to the boat store, get that crazy Hypalon glue, the 2-part stuff, they're idiots. That stuff probably, in my experience, hasn't worked nearly as well as just the super glue. The super glue is $1. Sand it heavily, both sides of the patch and the boat. This was just a gash. She said we hit that wreck, it just completely gashed, and the boat still floated, no big deal, but it just filled up with water and you could only go 2 miles an hour. So to fix this seam, I used a patch on both sides, the inside and the outside, and just glued it. Just rolled it up slowly, 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 glued it, sanded down the edges to cut down on the drag. And yeah, these patches have done exceedingly well thus far, and it was $2 each to fix this. And I go probably 20 miles an hour with these patches, no problem, for months at a time. This was probably 3 months ago that this happened. So these are 3 months old. They're doing great. And even if you have to do it quarterly, every 3 months, it's going to cost you $2 instead of that $50 glue, which can still fail. And it's more than likely going to fail. That stuff's not meant for high humidity, so it doesn't make any sense. It's counterintuitive. All right, guys, here we go. We got the dinghy pretty much scraped off and clean, so now it's time for the moment of truth with the hot sauce. We're going to give it the hot sauce bath. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. For the fans, thanks for the hot sauce, Diane.
We're going to do, I guess, right side up. It's going to be the right side of the dinghy. So we're going to come back with this experiment conclusion. Obviously, we got to give it some time to see the growth grow through. Woo-wee! I can smell it. It smells like we're at a Mexican restaurant.
We got the Aleco 10.5. Great boat. You know, I've only had it about 8 months now, but I beat the piss out of it. and it's holding up great. And they're relatively cheap. So get them now. Get them while they get inside, because once they find out what a good boat they made, they're going to make them $2,000. Dinghies are rated for only so much weight and so much power. Otherwise, it'll void the warranty on the transom or possibly just be very, very unsafe. So it says everything right here. This dinghy, though, I will say, this isn't the tablet that Moses walked off the mountain with. This is not the 10 Commandments. You got a little wiggle room here. This says we're only rated for a 110-pound motor, and the Mercury 15 is 133 pounds or something like that. So you can push it a little bit. You can go a little bit heavier than what they say, but you don't want to go too overboard. It's rated for 4 people. Basically, with the motor, me, all my stuff, and people, it can't go over 1,000 pounds. So pay attention to that. Definitely do your research and make sure you don't get something too crazy. But also, don't get something too small either, because if you can't plane, it sucks. You're just going to want to kill yourself. Alright guys, hope you enjoyed the video. If we missed anything, please, anything that we missed that you want to know, slide in the DMs on our Instagram. Please ask me. I can go into more detail about it. I didn't want to beat everyone over the head with a boring video. Also, let me know if we should start an Instagram for our cat. We definitely are thinking about it.
No, we're not.
Yes, we...
Nobody's
yes,
going to want to see the cat.
Yes, they will. But yeah, about the dinghy stuff. Feel free to hit me up on my Instagram, Neptune's Reaper, right here. And then I'll talk to you about it for hours. Anything I missed, please correct me if you want to argue with me over stuff. I love going back and forth on the internet. I'm into it.
What the hell are you talking about?
I don't know, man.
Anyways. Alright guys, I hope you enjoyed that video. I hope you guys learned something. If there's more you want to know, make sure you comment down below. What do you think? Do you think we pretty much went over everything?
I think we covered it. There's some useless information, and then there's some really good little nuggets in there. If you dig, you'll find the gold.
I don't know about that. I thought it was pretty informational.
Alright guys, anyway, good luck with the tips you got. I hope they work for you. Like, subscribe, comment, hit the bell button.
Make sure you let us know if you heard about the hot sauce trick also down below in the comments.
Yeah, that's what we're worried about. You know, the hot sauce was, we don't really know. You know, we got some.
We're going to find out, though, for sure.
Alright guys, till we see you next week. Looking forward to it. Gypsy, you later.
Bye.